Hi everyone, today a cabbage patch hat and then a knitted version. I've made this one on the loom, but you can also make them with knitting on the needles, of course. This is the smallest one, and I use my pattern of the upside down hat, and I made some fringes, and on this hat I made some braids. There will be photos on how it's on the hat. This one I made for myself because I didn't have a small model in my neighborhood. My head is 56 centimeters and also with fringes, and this one with pigtails on both sides. The tails are, you can also decide to make a ponytail, of course. There are some people who don't like acrylic yarn because it itches. So I even have made one with cotton yarn and then also with braids. And this one is with acrylic yarn, and I also have knitted here the true knit stitch, and that's what I did with the very small one too. So this is the true knit. Then I decided to make one with E-wrap, but you can have your own hats, of course, because when they fit, it's okay too. As you know, I knitted this in E-wrap with 3 strands of yarn, and I have made it on a 36 pack loom, and this one is in the true knit on a 41 pack loom. And as you can see, this is the difference between the stitches. So you know that when you're knitting it with true knit, you have to have a loom with more packs. My head was 56 centimeters, so then you have a clue. How to make the pigtails or braids. When you want to make braids, you have to have the hair yarn quite longer because you'll need more of it. When you are making pigtails, you can do it like this. Just take a book. The book, this is 23 centimeters and this is 3.5 centimeters. In inches it is 9.06, so around 9 inches, and 1.38 inch. When you want to make braids, I advise you to make the hair some longer than 23 centimeters or 9 inches. Then I advise you to take a book of 29 centimeters, and that is around 11.42 inches, so around 11 to 12 inches, and also the same here, 3.5 centimeters, and that's 1.38 inches. So it is not that bad. If it is just a little longer, you can still cut some hair off if you think it's too long. Now what you're just going to do is going to wrap the amount of times around the book until you think it's enough. I have 3 strands of needle 3 to 4, 4, 5, 29, 30. I'm going to try this. I still can make some new hair, of course. So I cut it off. Take a piece of yarn. Just pulling the hair up. Do it beneath. Just make a little knot. Then what you do, you take your scissors and you're just going to cut at the same point in the yarn, and you cut the yarn look if you have had all of them. No, you didn't. And you cut until you just take care of your book, of course. I didn't do that. Okay, and then you just check if this is enough. And as you can see, it's kind of a pigtail already. So at this point we are going to do the pigtails. I will show you a photo where you can see at what point in the hat I have put the hair. You can put the hat on your head and then point a bit out where you wanted to have those pigtails. To make life easier, I mark it. I just take a needle and a thread, and on one side I'm going to mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'm going to mark it so I know where I want to have my pigtails. This is the one that is in black, and on the photo you saw 2 in blue, 2, and those 2 in blue are only if your pigtails are too small, so you can adjust it over there. Some other, let's call it fringes of the hair. I'm just weaving in. So this was 1, this was 3, and this was 5. So now we are going to do a row with 3. I skip 1 and I just weave in, and this you can pull out afterwards. So this is the one with 3, and here we have 1. Now you still can check your head if you want the ponytails over there, and then you are going to make the very long fringes into it. So you did this one from the top, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you just start over there, and that's what you do exactly on the other side of the head. You know, this was 36 pegs loom, so you have to count 18, and then you do the other pigtail. So you just mark the other one, and you count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and you know this was the 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, so I know this was not the right one, so I just going to pull it out, adjust it, and then count from the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is the 7th. So this is my starting point. What you do is you take 9 or 10 pieces of yarn, you fold it, then you take your head, and when you're doing E-wrap, I think the best way of attaching is still in between the stitches, just like you would do with a true knit. And why I am doing it like this, because I think when I'm going to adjust all the hair together on one pigtail and then connect it to the head, you will going to see it. The yarn will stretch out, and it's other than when you crochet it is it's much more solid. And I think when you are going to put it at one point, the stitches will stretch out like that, and that won't be that beautiful. So it will look baggy or worn out. Okay, so fold it. Put your crochet hook through the stitch. You put the yarn around it. You pull it through. And then you just pull the yarn through the loop. And that is your first string. Now, when you're doing it from this way, it is okay to do all the string from that side. So this is where you put your first string. You know, over there is the second, and then you do 3. So just put another over there, pull through, you have a loop, and you pull the strands through the loop, and just try it to make it as small as possible, the knot. Okay, E-wrap, 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 and that is the one we are going to do. So we just follow, and we just look at we follow the stitches we see, and we follow the rows. So this is the following one. Pull your loop through. And you pull them through the created loop. So you fold it again, and they won't be as long as you see, but you still can do that afterwards, that you cut the hair again. So just watch. Here's where your weave in piece is. So you pull it through the E-wrap. You can also take the leather, but then I think it will be worn out too, because then you are going to pull at the stitches, and now you having 2 stitches, so it will be much steadier. We are going to pull out that one, so it isn't that bad when it's in the strands. Now we're pulling through again, and we're just going to pull at the knot. Now, as you can see, there are already 4 on it, and we're just going to continue doing this until we have finished, and then we check if there is enough pigtail hair. So we're at the last one now. I'm always putting the hair over here, so I have a good side. So this is the last one with 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is I'm going to put the last one. And then you can pull out that weaved in piece or just tear it out. What you could do now is make some other fringes, but a little bit smaller, just to embellish the hat a bit, and you put them in the brim. Also then just find out which sides you like most to have that knot, because when you're putting it from this side it will look like this, the knot, so you don't see it. It is going that way. So this is what it looks like. Now, do you think it is too small? You still have a stitch to put two more, or here on the beneath the pigtail. But most of the time when you already have cut it, that hair on the book, you know, okay, this must be enough. Now, beautiful ribbon around it. And of course you can, when you put it on a hat, the ribbon can be adjusted a little bit easier and more over those knots. And when you think, okay, it's slipping away, just do a few stitches and that the ribbon isn't able to go, fall off from the pigtail. Now what you can do is, with another color, put some pieces of scrap yarn over here, so you just adjust it and make a square or a reef knot. Just do it as tight as possible, then you get the effect. It comes in handy when you have another finger in the neighborhood from somebody else. Okay, another piece of scrap yarn. And you do that almost at the end of the pigtail, like this. So it's looking like this. And of course you can make braids. Divide it in 3 parts, equal parts of course, and from above of course, because you do it when you're making braids, you always do it from the top of the head, or you're looking at the top of your head and then you make the braids. So I'm not doing it that beautiful, but in this case this head has to have the pigtails. Now, and this is what it could look like, and I think your own imagination will do miracles with this kind of hat. So just make what you want to make, and everything is alright with this kind of hat. So I hope you have been able to help you to make your own cabbage patch hat, and hope to see you in another project. Bye bye.